Hello and welcome to another video by the Ministry of Miniatures, and today I wanted to do an army showcase of some of my US troops. In previous videos I've done my US winter, I've also shown the US paratroopers, but this time I wanted to show you the US 2nd Battalion of Army Rangers. I've also got some US engineers and then various other troops that I want to talk through. But to start with, I wanted to talk through my US Army Rangers. So ever since I was very young, growing up in Weymouth, there is a memorial to the 2nd Ranger Battalion commemorating D-Day, when the 2nd Ranger Battalion left Weymouth to assault Pointe Du Hoc in France, which was a beachhead that covered the two American landing sites, and the US Army Rangers were trained to climb the cliffs and scale the cliffs to take out the big German guns, which would lead the way to the US beach landing. So for me, I grew up always interested in the US Army Rangers. They also feature in Saving Private Ryan, which is a slightly different group, but it always had an interest. So when I got into bolt action, for me, it was really important, and I really wanted to do the Army Rangers. Looking at my troops, I wanted to show you what I did. So these troops, as you can see, are the new Warlord US Army troops, and as you can see, I've given them the metal Ranger equipment that came with the old smaller style Rangers. So to start with, I've got a higher officer, so a major. He would be leading the assault on Pointe Du Hoc. I've also got a lieutenant, or lieutenant in America, with an assistant. He's got a radio, and as you can see, again, I've put some of the extra equipment onto their belt so that they clearly stand out as Army Rangers. What I have got for my first unit over here is, again, they've all got the additional equipment, and this is a 4 SMG squad with an SMG NCO, and then at the back here you can see there's a light machine gun, which just gives a bit of extra firepower, and I've designed it so that each of these troops can be swapped in. So if I wanted to put a couple of SMGs as part of my Ranger squads, I can do that quite easily. So that makes quite a nice little unit. And then I've got 2 Ranger infantry squads. Each one of them has a BAR. They're all equipped with rifles, apart from the NCO, who has got an SMG. And as you can see with this one, he's got a knife so that he's ready to be part of the assault. And I think with the additional equipment, it really makes these Army Rangers stand out as some really nice figures, really. And if you look at the helmets, the ones at the back here, they've got goggles on, which is part of the original Army Ranger kit. And then again here is another squad, again all with rifles and a BAR. And essentially it's designed so that the Army Rangers have a pre-deployment move. So before the game starts, basically they get to do a free run order. It puts them in a really good position. I love the Americans, the way they can move and shoot, so I often run them all with rifles. It just allows me to move and keep firing, move, keep firing, and can often dominate the table. And then as part of the support at the back here, I've got an Army Ranger medic, Army Ranger sniper, Army Ranger bazooka. Then I've also given them a medium machine gun, a medium mortar and spotter, and a nice piece of artillery there. And as you can see with the base, I've added additional equipment so that if I need to make them leave the artillery piece, it shows that they've got equipment to use. So that is the US Army Ranger army. Very nice army. I've used this quite successfully in a tournament and came second place. But yeah, very nice troops and a very nice army. So to support my Rangers, I've got 2 units here. So what I wanted to do is have 2 engineer units and make it a bit of a theme for an army. So I've given them an officer and assistant at the front there. So you can see the colours are different. All of the Rangers have the colours that I believe is correct, which is green pants and khaki top. These engineers have brown pants and green top. So as you can see, they're the officer and assistant. And then I've got 2 identical squads, which is an NCO with submachine gun, 1 submachine gunner, then there is a flamethrower and 2 BARs, and then the rest have rifles to help support. And that makes for some quite tough veteran engineers. And I've done it so I've got 2 squads of them in case I run any battles where that's the scenario. And for each of the armies, I've given a bazooka and a sniper, and as you can see there, there's a medic as well. So this isn't an army on its own, but it is a good support piece whether I want to run them with the Rangers or whether I want to have them with a different part of the army. Okay, so next up is another unit that I can run as either regulars or veteran, but likely these would be my regulars. And as you can see, I've given them a senior officer. I've also given them a lieutenant and assistant. And then again, as before with the engineers and with the Rangers, I've got 2 identical squads. And these, if I'm running them as regular, have 1 BAR. All of the squad have rifles. So that's 9 rifles in each squad, and then the NCO just at the front there to depict the NCO has an SMG. And then at the back, again, there's a sniper squad, a bazooka squad, and a medic. So that would be my regular squad. Now lastly, I've got my inexperienced squad. I wanted to have troops that could run as either regular or inexperienced, depending on the scenario. So if I wanted to one of the early war for the US when they first joined, I can run these troops as inexperienced. And to represent that, I've used the old figures. So as you can see, the legs are a bit thinner. They're still nice sculpts, but they're not quite the same as the new figures, not quite so chunky. But I've given the officer at the front here, he's got a pistol and he's got an assistant with an SMG. And then I've got 3 identical squads. So I'm running larger squads, and each of those has 2 BARs, and they have 10 rifles to support them. And again, I'm trying to go on the American move and shoot, which allows them to really dominate the battlefield. And then, as with the previous armies, these ones I've given a bazooka, a second bazooka, a sniper, and as you can see there, there's a medium mortar with spotter. There's also a medium machine gun, and I've also converted a chaplain. So he's got a little prayer book and his chaplain cloth, and he's got his hand up in the air. And then lastly, to support, I've got another heavy howitzer. So a nice big unit with plenty of stuff on the base to make it stand out. So that is my US Army, which is quite a size. And bearing in mind, on the other video, I've also got my US paratroopers and my winter US Army. That makes for a very sizable force, which, if I get enough comments, I will put them all together on a table and show you what they look like together as a huge, massive force. But anyway, for now, take care. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you all again soon.